Hello everyone, Elite Cameraman here. Episode 70 Part 2 just dropped, and I'm gonna be honest, I really wasn't expecting an episode like this with so much new info.
I don't need it. What are you scared of? You scared of getting old? Because we're all getting old. Hey, I'll take care of my life. You just take care of yours. And the first thing you can do is forgive your brother for making a mistake. Because when you came crying to me after Riley died and you cheated on Sharon,
And I'm gonna be honest, I really wasn't expecting an episode like this with so much new info, and crazy info at that. As I guessed in my earlier episodes, I guess we really got a glimpse of the origin of the skibidi toilets, and it truly was shocking. Not only that, but we got reveals on some other crazy stuff too. Even though, as Boom revealed a couple days ago, there wasn't much action this episode, the amount of reveals was crazy. And there is so much to talk about, so I'm gonna stop yapping and start analyzing the second you like this video and subscribe. Anyways, here we go. This episode directly started with the ending of episode 70, part 1, and actually had the ghost cameraman that we saw in the last episode, which makes me wonder if they were a rendering mistake, or if there are actually ghost cameramen, since nothing has been confirmed still, but I'll assume that they weren't there for now, since there is no way to know if they were actually there. After this, we started hearing the destruction sounds more and more, until a hole opened up in the ceiling. We were met by a cameraman, but sadly this blood has been killed, and is being used as a trap now. This is kind of terrifying, to be honest, because the toilets are literally using dead bodies as decoys now. And with all the bodies they gathered until now, if they can create some tech, which I think is most likely, they might be able to make cameraman decoy robots or something similar to make crazier traps. After the bomb on the dead cameraman's back explodes, we can see that it had acid inside it because green smokes come out of it, and the toilet that threw it literally has a whole acid tank behind him, so it makes sense that he uses acid weapons. But when he saw that it didn't really work, he instantly jumped down, and from the second he jumped down, I think it was safe to say that he himself is a decoy and is a bomb because he had the same bombs the dead cameraman had on his back attached to his back as well. But instead of one, there are two with a whole tank. He instantly stabs one of the cameramen the second he jumps down, but it looks like the stun guns kind of work on him to some extent. I'm saying kinda because he was able to rotate himself but not really make any other movements. And the dark speaker man instantly shoots his eyes with knives, but the second this happens, this toilet suddenly starts his bomb sequence. We don't have to worry though, because this brave soldier who was just stabbed has not given up yet. And for the sake of his squad's survival, he pulls the toilet with him down to the hole before he explodes, saving everyone. And when I say save everyone, I meant everyone, because that goddamn explosion was so bright, it was shinier than Scientist Toilet's bald head. You brother, you truly are a real hero. We need more cameramen like you in the Alliance. You really don't have to worry, because we'll never forget the great deeds you have done for the sake of the Alliance. Subscribe to pay your respects to our brave hero. After this explosion, Plunger Cameraman decides to take one of the weapons off the ground, and while they are all thinking about what just happened and what to do, the elevator starts shaking as if it's going to fall down, and they instantly start moving, starting with Dark Speakerman flying the two cameramen to the higher floor with his jetpack. But our Plunger Cameraman with the Giga Chad mindset literally jumps on the wall and stabs his new spiky hands on the wall to climb the wall. And when he stops to look down for a second, the Dark Speakerman comes to help, which was a leaked frame that we saw a couple days ago. Blood literally slapped Dark Speakerman's hand because of what happened a couple episodes back. If you guys don't remember, in episode 69, part 1, Dark Speakerman had to make the hard choice and close off the door on some of the cameraman to save the rest of the squad from the Michael Jackson toilet. And because of this, Plunger Cameraman was so mad at him. It looks like things between haven't cooled down a single bit, even though it's an extreme situation. And if I'm honest, Plunger Cameraman probably feels a lot more angry because it was a speakerman who closed down the door on cameramen. If one of the cameramen closed the door, he probably would have let it go a lot more easily. After getting up to the floor, they look at Lucky Cameraman, and he shows the way to go after checking it from his tablet. But if you look at Dark Speakerman in this scene, you'll see that he really does look sad after getting rejected by the Plunger Cameraman. It really must feel bad for him to be seen as the bad guy, even though he was just trying to protect the others, and his best bro being mad at him because in episode 66, they had the craziest dab. But now that friendship is on the verge of collapsing. Needing to deal with his feelings in an intense situation like this must be a really huge toll on him, but blood will pull through. After this scene, we see the Plunger Cameraman taking out his plunger, and everyone starts moving, but they instantly start seeing huge toilets patrolling around the area trying to find the squad, so they close their flashlights and actually turn on their night visions. This is the first time we are seeing this, and not gonna lie, it was kinda cool to see that. This was a feature on the camera, but sadly the electricity comes back right when they were next to one of the doors, and one of the toilets see them trying to sneak in and starts preparing an attack. But Lucky Cameraman starts opening the doors with his remote control, and on the right side we can actually see a text that says, Test Lab C-33/A. And I went to rewatch episode 33 to see if it was an Easter egg of some sorts, but there wasn't much to it since it was the episode where G-Man Toilet destroyed the YouTube HQ. If you think there is a hidden meaning behind it, let me know. After running through the hallway, Lucky Cameraman closes down all the doors, and we actually see the door we saw on the first merch store leaked 2 days ago. And as we guessed, this really was a very special room because the stuff that were revealed to us still blows my mind. After entering the room, the plunger cameraman looks around for a second, and we can see some many stuff. It's crazy. This place is like a collector's room where he hides his precious toys. And there is anything you can think of, but before we talk about these, did you notice that the mouthless toilet actually could be seen right when they enter the room? Plunger cameraman actually saw the mouthless toilet peeking through one of the containers right before he hid behind to wait for the perfect moment, which is a creepy little detail that you might have missed. The first two things we see are the two weapons inside the window cases, which are not clear in this frame, but later we can see that one of them is a knife that speakermen use, and the other is a spear. And I'm going to be honest, if that spear belonged to anyone, I don't remember. I don't remember seeing it ever. This also might mean that there is someone out there that uses spears as his or her weapon, which might be a foreshadow in itself. The next thing we see is one of the octopus arms. I may be wrong, but I first remember seeing them in episode 44, where the Titan TV man fought against a toilet with these arms. The next X is a huge knife, which I assume Titan Speakerman used to have. I don't remember him losing a knife. In episode 65 and 67, we saw Titan Speakerman's knives, but I don't know if it was exactly like this. And for this to be here, I feel like it has been here for a while. Next thing we see is the workbench on the left. And it's actually the same workbench we saw in episode 16. A long time ago, when the cameraman infiltrated the first ever skibidi lab, ever and after rewatching that episode and seeing the picture on the wall and connecting the dots with episode 68 part 2, the lore actually blew my mind. But I'll get into that in a second when we start talking about the big reveal in today's episode. The next thing we see is one of the cameras from the spider cameras from earlier episodes, like episode 22, when they were fighting G-Man Toilet. Next to it are probably the legs of it, and right next to that is one of the jetpacks from the Titans. But the most shocking thing they have is on the top, which is the actual arm of Titan Cameraman from episode 20, when he lost his arm for the first time. It's crazy that the toilet salvaged that. This really shows the dedication they have to improve, because they probably have been using all these materials to reverse engineer it and make it better to use it themselves for upgrades. Under the arm, there is something that looks like a core of some sorts, but I got no idea what it is. And next to it is one of the machines from episode 16 once again. Also next to that is a huge speaker, which might be one of Titan Speakerman's old speakers. And lastly, there is a pair of sunglasses on a stand. But even though this whole room made us feel nostalgic, the craziness starts at this moment. Instantly, when Plunger Cameraman turns to his right, we see something on the wall. But first, Plunger Cameraman moves to the table and he sees a clipboard that has some skibidi writing on it, and two toilets, one being the scientist toilet, and the other being one of the astro toilets. We will never know what's written on here since it's in skibidi language, but the one common thing in this image is the red eyes the scientist toilet and the astro toilets have. And I don't know why they are in the same clipboard here, but it does seem like they are being compared to one another. Or it might be because they both have red eyes. I'm not sure.
Excuse me, gasoline highway, how much are you worth? 25?
But there is a chance that the red eyes entail something important. Also behind the scientist toilet, there seems to be some sort of a logo, but it's not clear at all. Only thing I know is that he probably will be losing his head next episode if it continues like this. What happened right after this moment will be remembered as the biggest reveal of Skibidi Toilet ever, because the next frame we saw has revealed more in just a few seconds than the entire 70-episode series have revealed so far. Plunger Cameraman looks at a picture on the wall that's like a news snippet, and it says, Alpha Hills Labs gets new administrator. Government-sponsored underground laboratory assigned a new administrator. Details and reason for the deal remain in secrecy. February 7th, 1979, before we talk about the picture itself. The date might either be February 7th or July 2nd, depending on which dating structure Dafuk is using, but